You know, way before we were all glued to our screens, there was another, much older tool used to shape how we think and act, one we barely even notice anymore: sound. We're going to dive into this hidden world of what's called sonic architecture and see how sound wasn't just for listening to, it was engineered to control.
Brainwash. Whoa, that is a heavy word, right? But it's meant to get your attention. It's a challenge, really. A challenge to stop thinking of sound as just, background noise, and to start hearing it for what it often was: an active, powerful, and very intentional force.
So, here's the big mental shift we got to make. For ancient societies, music wasn't always about art or just enjoying a nice tune. It was a form of structure. Think of it less like a painting and more like, well, architecture, a tool, just as deliberate as a law or a building, designed specifically to organize people and guide how they acted as a group.
Okay, so to really wrap our heads around this, let's look at our first case study, the incredible Hagia Sophia in Istanbul. This place wasn't just a building for worship. It was basically a giant, carefully tuned acoustic instrument, built to create a feeling of the divine. So let's break down how this actually worked. Just imagine you're standing inside this massive space as priests begin to chant. The sound, it doesn't just fill the room, no, it travels up, way up into that colossal dome. And because of the mind-bending acoustics, the individual voices, they start to blur, to melt together, echoing until they dissolve into this one overwhelming, ethereal sound that doesn't even feel human anymore. And that was the whole point. That otherworldly sound, seeming to pour down from the heavens, had a very specific, very political purpose: to make the emperor's power feel like it was approved by God himself. This wasn't about winning a debate with words. It was about creating an experience that bypassed your brain and made you feel the social hierarchy right in your bones.
All right, so sound can make you feel closer to the divine. But what happens when you take that same principle and drop it onto a battlefield? We're going from the sacred cathedral to the chaos of war, where sound wasn't just a tool, it was a weapon. The sound of massed drums in ancient warfare was pure psychological engineering. I mean, first off, yeah, of course, it was meant to be absolutely terrifying to the enemy. No-brainer. But the real magic might have been what it did to the soldiers themselves. That powerful, relentless rhythm was designed to do one crucial thing: to absorb a soldier's personal, individual fear, and transform thousands of separate men who were probably terrified out of their minds into a single, unified fighting machine. The beat just takes over. You stop thinking for yourself. You just start moving as part of this collective motion. You're not just you anymore. You're part of the drumbeat, a piece of something much bigger and seemingly unstoppable. So let's put these two right next to each other. In the church, you have these beautiful, dissolving chants that create awe and a sense of divine authority. On the battlefield, you have this brutal, overwhelming rhythm that creates collective motion. The methods and the goals, they seem like total opposites, right? But look closer. The underlying principle is exactly the same: control. Both sounds were deliberately engineered to produce a specific social outcome. And this right here, this brings us to the key to the whole thing, the one big idea that connects the cathedral and the battlefield, these two seemingly opposite worlds. This is such a profound insight. Just let that sink in for a second. The soundscape around you wasn't just noise. It was a living, breathing blueprint for society. It literally told you what your role was and exactly how you fit into the bigger picture. So, at the end of the day, the sound defined your identity within the group. It answered that fundamental question: who am I in this moment? Am I the humble subject looking up at a divine ruler? Or am I the fearless soldier marching as one with my brothers in arms? You didn't even have to ask. The soundscape gave you the answer. Now, it's really easy to hear all this and think, okay, cool story, but that's ancient history, right? Well, not so fast. These principles of sonic architecture, they haven't disappeared. Not at all. They've just evolved. In fact, their echoes are all around us, every single day.
And that's the question I want to leave you with. I mean, think about it. The carefully chosen music in a retail store that's designed to make you shop longer. The national anthem at a sporting event that just instantly unifies an entire crowd. That pounding beat at a music festival that creates this feeling of collective euphoria. What rhythms are shaping your behavior? What sounds are subtly telling you and all of us where we belong? Because once you start listening for it, really listening, you'll hear it everywhere.